Living Well Ladies Aerobic program and fabulous exercise equipment will help you get in shape.
It's great. I like it. I'm real happy with it.
Call now, only $10.13 a month. Hurry, offer ends soon. Don't miss out.
Wrap a bowl with Reynolds plastic wrap, and an unusual thing happens. It clings. If Reynolds plastic wrap clings tight enough to keep this fruit outside, imagine how fresh it'll keep your food inside. Reynolds plastic wrap clings tight to keep food fresh no matter what. Now that's not fair.
Put the power of a computer in your hands with training at PSI Institute. Now a powerful new career could be yours as a computer programmer, or select computer electronics and learn to repair and maintain modern computers. The employment and earnings potential is excellent in both business and industry. So reach out for a better future, your future, with PSI training. Call PSI Institute now at 944-9200. Put the power of the computer to work for you by calling 944-9200.
Thinkable? Unthinkable.
The unsinkable taste of Cheerios. Not a lot of sugar to weigh down those Cheerios. Look how they float, don't keep them down. So he can't, she can't, you can't sink the unsinkable taste of Cheerios. Not a lot of sugar to weigh down those Cheerios. The unsinkable taste of Cheerios.
Next on News 9 at noon, is the Space Shuttle Columbia down for the count? New threats from Libya's dictator, a controversial new plan for airport security, and a bleak day for Giants fans. All that and much more coming up next on News 9 at noon.
Mom, I made it! I'm a hairstylist!
Robert Fiance opens the door to a brighter day. Opens the door to a better way. Opens the door, that's why we say Robert Fiance helps open the door to success.
Robert Fiance, the #1 name in beauty schools, offers financial aid if you qualify. Call now at 947-4731.
At one time, they were only available to kings and queens, the rich and famous. Today, new modern above-ground mausoleums are available to almost every family, religion, and budget, all conveniently located in beautiful New York and New Jersey suburban areas. Family visits here are comforting and free from the problems of old-fashioned cemeteries. To receive your free colorful booklet and estate planning guide containing all the facts about mausoleums, call now without obligation. Dial toll-free 1-800-331-1001. Join the many others who are saving money and worry by planning ahead. For your booklet and guide, call 1-800-331-1001. Call us today.
The Redmen of St. John's battle the Boston College Eagles. Tuesday night at 8:30. Channel 9 is coming on strong. Just watch.
A day to say goodbye to a firefighter who lost his life and then gave life to another.
Now, from WOR-TV, Tom Dunn, Sarah Lee Kessler. Weather with Lloyd Lindsay Young. This is News 9 at noon.
Good afternoon, I'm Reg Wells in for Tom. A funeral for a Newark firefighter today.
A man who gave new life in his death. Marcus Reddick died after rescuing a woman from a burning building, and his heart still lives on. News 9's Stephanie Shelton reports hundreds of friends and co-workers came to remember Reddick.
Massed by the hundreds, Marcus Reddick's fellow firefighters gave him a hero's funeral. The pallbearers were the men of Engine Company 5, where the 26-year-old Reddick had been transferred just a few months ago. The fireman died from injuries suffered in a New Year's Eve fire. Reddick fell 35 feet, rescuing a 67-year-old woman. His body broke her fall. What kind of a future might he have had he lived?
There was a nice future for the boy because he was industrious. He was studying, he was going to school, and he was trying to complete his studies, and he was also a good fireman.
So, a true tragedy.
It certainly is.
At the Blessed Sacrament Church, still decorated for the Christmas celebration, the mourners were told to remember the joy the young firefighter brought instead of grieving for his death.
He was a person who had hope. A young man who had hope. And so that's what I'd like to remember Marcus as today. And maybe you can take that home with you to help you in your time of mourning.
In his death, Marcus Reddick has given hope. All of his organs were donated for transplants, including his heart, which now beats on in the body of Carlos Torres, the second heart transplant patient in New Jersey history. Stephanie Shelton, News 9, Newark.
Reddick had been with the Newark Fire Department since 1978.
For the third time in as many weeks, the launch of the troubled space shuttle Columbia has been postponed. Columbia is still sitting on the launch pad because of an oxygen valve that wouldn't close. The shuttle was within 31 seconds of blast-off this morning when the launch was delayed. NASA waited more than an hour, then decided to put off the launch until tomorrow. The crew for this flight includes the first Hispanic American to fly in space. Also aboard, Congressman Bill Nelson of Florida. He chairs the subcommittee which oversees NASA's budget. Their big mission will be launching a $50 million RCA communications satellite.
A prison uprising in Fort Madison, Iowa this morning appears to have ended almost as quickly as it began. The rioting inmates released 7 guards they took hostage about an hour after the siege began. 2 guards and 1 inmate received minor injuries in the outbreak. The maximum security prison was the scene of 2 riots back in 1981. Well, the morning rush hour was anything but smooth sailing on the New Jersey Turnpike today. Traffic was backed up for miles by an accident involving 3 cars and a truck at the Route 3 Lincoln Tunnel Toll Plaza. The truck apparently hit an abutment and came to a stop on top of 1 car, smashing it like a pancake. Hackensack Medical Center says the driver of that vehicle may not even need hospitalization. His injuries were so minor. 2 other cars also were involved in the accident. The truck driver and 2 toll collectors were treated for minor injuries.
Nurses at the Irvington General Hospital are on the job today. Their threatened strike averted this morning by a last-minute agreement. The nurses voted yesterday to strike if their contract dispute was not settled. They'll vote on a new 2-year pact tomorrow, but no details of the settlement have been released yet. And in New Jersey, an investigation is underway today into workers at 3 state-run psychiatric hospitals. 24 workers have been fired after it was learned they had criminal records and had falsified employment applications. The crimes included assault, battery, robbery, and drug abuse. All 24 had direct contact with patients at Marlborough, Trenton, and Greystone psychiatric facilities. 36 other workers at the hospitals are also under investigation.
Well, for Giants fans like my buddy Reg Wells, it's wait till next year again. The Giants football playoff fever received an ice-cold reception in Chicago yesterday. The boys in blue found the team from the Windy City unbearable, and they lost 21-0. But a handful of fans, including Governor Kane, still believed enough in the team to greet them at Newark Airport last night. News 9's Carl Churkin reports that although many fans are disappointed by the loss to the Bears, they are left with high hopes.
The Giants! Yeah!
Only serious fans come out in these conditions. Get a look at those get-ups. It's hard to believe unless you've been there. Well, here we are about 2 hours before game time at Soldier Field. The wind chill factor about -25. Hey, Giants fans, what'd you expect? A warm reception?
I don't pretend to understand those people. I can appreciate the artistry of the sport, but I don't understand fans. And I'm not going to even make an attempt.
Outnumbered something like 66-1 at sold-out Soldier Field, Giants fans weren't necessarily better or smarter. Then again, I'm still trying to understand what this bare-chested Bear fan was trying to tell us.
No, this isn't cold. No.
Down 7-0 at the half. The Giants came back on the field, still feeling they can rally and win. and so did their supporters.
It's a sad song right now, but we're coming back strong.
Yes, Giants, yes, yes, yes! But the Giants' offense was off-key all day, Tommy Tunes. Bears fans, a bawdy but well-behaved bunch for the most part, get to sing their song again next Sunday, while the Giants head home. Now, a season that started with such great expectations back in September. A season of great performances that peaked in the playoffs ends abruptly here in Chicago. From Soldier Field, Carl Churkin, News 9 Sports.
Well, with both the Jets and now the Giants eliminated, who is left on the road to the Super Bowl? Carl will return later in our broadcast with that and with the rest of the sports.
And coming up next on News 9 at noon, the price tag is $18 million, but a huge art theft is foiled.
We'll tell you about a controversial new proposal to improve airport security. Lloyd will have the latest on the cold weather, and are some commuter fares going up.
This important announcement from A.H. Robbins concerns the use of the Dalkon Shield IUD, a birth control device. Whether or not you know of any injury resulting from this product, you must act now or you will lose your right to ever make a claim. To make a claim, mail a postcard or letter with your full name and complete address to the court at the address below. It must be received by April 30th, 1986.
Have you ever wondered why some people become bartenders?
Yeah. This is News 9, prime time.
Good evening, I'm Reg Wells in for Tom Dunn. A deadly combination may be to blame for 4 deaths.
That combination, kerosene heaters and a lack of smoke detectors. 3 children and their teenaged uncle may have had little chance to escape a raging fire at their Blairstown home. News 9's Matthew Schwartz reports it's the second time in 3 days kerosene heaters have triggered devastating fires.
Neighbors say kerosene heaters were all Patricia Tootie could afford to keep her Blairstown home warm. One of those heaters might have caused the fire that killed her 3 children, ages 2, 3, and 4, and her 15-year-old brother. Investigators say the children were asleep when the fire started at 12:30 this morning and couldn't be warned.
They didn't have a chance.
There were no smoke alarms?
Don't quote me, as far as I know, no.
The 23-year-old mother and her boyfriend escaped by jumping out a second-floor window. After the children's mother and her boyfriend escaped, they ran across the street to that house for help, banging on the door of their neighbor, John Sidrock.
They were in panic, very much so. They were bleeding, and they were charcoal from head to foot. The man was naked. She had a little bathrobe on, and all she kept hollering was about her kids,
What did you see when you looked across the street at the house?
An inferno. The house was all ablaze. I don't know how the hell the people ever got out of there.
The fire is the second in 2 days, apparently caused by a kerosene heater. A fire in Patterson Saturday critically injured 2 boys, ages 2 and 3. But this western New Jersey village is home to only 3,100 people, most unfamiliar with such tragedy.
It's just something that has never happened here before in a small town, and you just don't expect things like this. You expect them to happen in the city, or it's just a shock.
They all felt bad because that's all they did all day was talk about it, you know.
While investigators would not confirm the probable cause of the fire, some neighbors did say that the people who lived here kept 4 kerosene heaters going at the same time. Matthew Schwartz, News 9, Blairstown.
Kerosene heaters are illegal in New York City. Many New Jersey towns have banned the use of these heaters, but even where they're permitted, fire departments urge extreme caution.
In Newark tonight, a heroic young fireman has been laid to rest. Funeral services were held for 26-year-old Marcus Reddick. The pallbearers were his colleagues from Engine Company 5. At the Blessed Sacrament Church, mourners were told to remember the joy Reddick brought instead of grieving for his death.
He was a person who had hope. A young man who had hope. And so that's what I'd like to remember Marcus as today. And maybe you can take that home with you to help you in your time of mourning.
Reddick died of injuries suffered while rescuing an elderly woman from a fire New Year's Eve. His heart was later donated to a transplant patient at Beth Israel Hospital in Newark.
Police on Long Island are looking for 4 suspects in the shocking murder of a young engaged couple tonight. The man and woman were stabbed to death in the man's apartment above a restaurant in Southampton. Police think they may have surprised a burglar. The victims were found in a bathtub with their coats on. Their names have not yet been released.
In international news tonight, Libya's armed forces are on full alert. A blackout is in effect in most of the capital city of Tripoli. Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi is preparing the North African nation for a U.S. military assault, which he says could come any time. Retribution for Libya's support of last month's terrorist attacks at 2 European airports. A top aide to Gaddafi says Libya is willing to sacrifice half the nation's population of 4 million to repel U.S. attacks. At a meeting of the National Security Council in Washington today, the Reagan administration decided against immediate military action against Libya. The administration says it will opt instead for economic sanctions. President Reagan is expected to address the Libyan crisis tomorrow night in a nationally televised news conference.
In the wake of the terrorist attacks at Rome and Vienna airports, a proposal to tighten security at New York's Kennedy Airport. The airport's general manager is asking all airlines that use JFK to restrict check-in areas and departure lounges to ticketed passengers.
When you have large numbers of people all congested together, it's a very dangerous situation.
Rowe says 2 airlines, El Al and Air India, already have imposed such restrictions at Kennedy. Airport security is the subject of tonight's Opinion 9 question. We are asking, are you willing to face more inconvenience at airports to ensure tighter security? Now, if you say yes, you can call 1-900-210-1900. But if you say no, call 1-900-210-1909. There's a 50-cent charge for each phone call, and we will have preliminary results for you later on in this broadcast.
A call for tighter security at local hospitals tonight. The demand follows last week's murder of a surgeon at Kings County Hospital in Brooklyn. The union representing 3,000 area doctors says hospitals have been the scene of many other crimes and often are very dangerous places.
In the facility in which I work at nighttime, to get a laboratory test done, the doctors have to traverse a group of tunnels, abandoned, lighting is not the very best, and they live in fear. And I often wonder how many lab tests are not done because of that fear.
Leibowitz says he's asked the mayor, along with the Health and Hospitals Corporation, for an independent evaluation of security at city health care centers.
Tonight, tri-state doctors are urging landlords and homeowners to repair malfunctioning heating systems because of the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning.
News 9's Brian Glazer joins us now with details. Brian?
Reg, the coroner's office tells News 9 in New York City alone, at least 13 people recently died of unintentional carbon monoxide poisoning. We've all heard of using carbon monoxide from car fumes to commit suicide, but you could be killing yourself accidentally with these invisible fumes. Carbon monoxide, most commonly associated with automotive exhaust. However, in homes and apartments, increasing numbers of carbon monoxide poisoning, the result of clogged heating systems. Last year in Hazlitt, a family of 4 died in its sleep. Cause of death, carbon monoxide poisoning, contaminated fumes carried through heat ducts. Household carbon monoxide poisoning is easily avoided with routine heating system maintenance. After a week of problems with her furnace, Mary Postal called for repairs.
I went down the basement a few times, and I didn't see any smoke or anything, just the fumes. It was irritating, annoying, but it wasn't bad. Like you could tolerate it.
Some people tolerate the problem too long and later panic in search of help.
Now, if she doesn't vomit within 20 minutes, I want you to call me back immediately. Do not...
Since November, New Jersey's Poison Control Hotline helped 70 callers identify their ailments as carbon monoxide contamination.
We've had some very close to catastrophes have already been averted because people did call us, and we suggested that they got out of the environment to clear their systems of the carbon monoxide, or where people actually came either unconscious or with bizarre behavior to hospital emergency rooms, and we suggested that to the hospital emergency rooms that it might be carbon monoxide and instituted appropriate therapy.
Dr. Marcus says carbon monoxide poisoning symptoms closely parallel those warning signs of the flu. So during the flu season, many people ignore what could be carbon monoxide contamination. I've got some phone numbers for you if you have any questions. You can call these numbers in New Jersey, 1-800-962-1253. In New York City, the number is 212-340-4494. And in Connecticut, call 203-674-3456. Sarah and Reg?
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. Topping tonight's Healthline news, the Dalkon Shield. The A.H. Robbins Company, the maker of the IUD, under court order has begun a $5 million advertising campaign to alert women who use that IUD that they have until April 30th to file claims against the company. Women injured by the Dalkon Shield cite problems ranging from bleeding to spontaneous abortion.
Still to come, a no-frills budget for the Big Apple and some New Jersey towns get rid of a messy problem.
The Giants try to figure out what went wrong. We'll have the bare facts.
And will Corpse have a long life on Broadway? Judith will have that verdict. We'll have more, so stay with us.
News 9 is brought to you by First Fidelity Bank. First Fidelity's first concern.
The people of New Jersey have been waiting for a nationally recognized bank of their own. First Fidelity Bank's assets of over $10 billion make it the largest in New Jersey. As a leading New Jersey municipal bond underwriter, First Fidelity is providing the resources to help preserve our lakes, streams, rivers, and 127 miles of shoreline. We're concerned with everything that's important to the people of New Jersey, because at First Fidelity Bank, our first concern is you.
Bright, lively, exciting. This is Con Edison's Conservation Center, home of the energy experts, where you can learn ways to save money on energy.
How much insulation do we need?
You'll find informative exhibits, bright ideas from energy specialists,
To seal off drafts in your apartment, try indoor storm windows.
and helpful booklets, all free. Visit the home of the energy experts, Con Edison's Conservation Center, at 42nd and Lexington in the Chrysler Building.
Well, another long-distance bill. A bill should be an important way for a business to collect information. But if it's an AT&T bill, it might only collect dust. Fortunately, there's the billing solution from GTE Sprint. Now you can break down spending by client, location, department, or individual. So you can put that information to work, not into storage. When you've got Sprint, you've got the future on the line.
Benny Hill, John Biner. Funny on their own, now even funnier together.
What? Shh.
The laughter's back to back, and Channel 9 will never be the same.
It's a little sexual identity problem. That's a fun thought.
That means my career is over. I'm wiped out. Mother! People can get hurt. Innocent people.
And here they are.
Benny Hill at 11 and Bizarre at 11:30 starting tonight on Channel.
Mayor Koch's 1987 budget proposal is out tonight. The mayor says it's intended to combat the, quote, Rambo-nomics budget cuts in Washington. The plan calls for nearly $21.5 billion in spending. It includes a tax hike on large real estate deals, but there are no service improvements and no increase in the number of police officers or firefighters. It's expected the plan will go through a series of revisions before it is eventually approved. The 1987 budget takes effect July 1st.
Topping tonight's Tri-State Report, in New York, former Labor Secretary Raymond Donovan now has a court date. A federal judge today set February 18th as the day Donovan and 9 others will go on trial for allegedly bilking the city out of millions of dollars in a subway tunnel project. And a federal judge has put off a decision on whether to end the racketeering trial of associates of the late Paul Castellano. Defense lawyers asked for a mistrial after Castellano was gunned down last month on the streets of Manhattan. In South Jersey, a garbage crisis is over tonight. Garbage began piling up in 10 Camden County towns after the New Year's Eve closing of the Kinsley landfill. The towns today agreed to send their trash to a garbage facility in Philadelphia. And Connecticut's highest elected black official says he will not seek a 4th term. State Treasurer Henry Parker says he's going into the private sector.
In South Africa, 20,000 black platinum miners are out of work tonight. They were fired because they went on strike 5 days ago. In our area, black South African activist Bishop Desmond Tutu is in Manhattan tonight. At a news conference, he had praise for the American people, but not particularly for President Reagan.
Why doesn't he imagine that South Africa is Nicaragua? and apply to South Africa the policy he applies to Nicaragua. Voila! And apartheid would be over in next to no time.
Tutu is in the United States on a 3-week tour to raise funds for South African refugees.
Up next, Lloyd with a bitterly cold forecast.
Yeah, especially tomorrow night. I'll have the cold, bare facts. It might even be unbearable.
And Carl Churkin, can anybody stop the Bears?
Not as long as Rams have horns, Reg. You know, those Bears are about as nasty and talented as a bunch as I've seen lately. And that's just the defense, while quarterback Jim McMahon and wide receiver Dennis McKinnon looked a whole lot better on offense than the Giants ever hoped they would be.
Bring your home to life with a visit to Petland Discounts. I'm Neil Padron, president of Petland Discounts. For 20 years, we've offered every product to help keep your pet healthy and happy at discount prices. And the staff always ready to answer your questions. Petland Discounts is one of the largest selections of tropical fish and aquarium supplies. Petland Discounts, for people who love pets. Now 27 convenient locations, all open 7 days.
We asked people who don't like sugarless gum to try our gum. They didn't know it was new Trident.
It's very soft. It has a very good flavor. This gum's great.
Then we told them it was new Trident.
I'm surprised this is a sugarless gum.
Now Trident's softer, with even longer lasting flavor.
I would chew this gum instead of a sugar gum because it tastes very, very good and it doesn't lose its flavor.
The great new taste that'll win you over to sugarless gum.
Taste new Trident.
Thinkable? Unthinkable.
The unsinkable taste of Cheerios. Not a lot of sugar to weigh down those Cheerios. Look how they float, don't keep them down. So he can't, she can't, you can't sip the unsinkable taste of Cheerios. Not a lot of sugar to weigh down those Cheerios. The unsinkable taste of Cheerios.
Well, you said chili, Lloyd. Are we talking teens, single digits, or what?
I'm talking goose eggs and goose pimples by tomorrow night. I'm talking 0, and that's nothing, Sarah. Let's check our current conditions right now and see how cold it is already. It isn't all that bad, but hey, the party's just beginning if you're a polar bear and you like Arctic air like I do. It's clear, 29. I was envious. Carl had a great assignment this weekend. I wish I could have been there. 29 degrees, 37% humidity. Wind, northwest 14, wind chill factor 8 above. And the old barometer is rising at 30.07. I ran into a guy named Hacksaw today. He said, Lloyd, you were a little down at noon. Wake up, get pumped up. All right, I'm ready. Hello, Queens. Woodside, Queens. And happy birthday to Agnes. But Agnes, you addressed your letter 1985, and you didn't tell me who you were married to because you're celebrating an anniversary too, but that's all right. Here's the Arctic air that's already by the tri-state area, ushering in this bitter cold onslaught. You know, we've only had 3 inches of snow the whole winter, and there's no business like snow business. It's been a bad year for snow business. 3 inches at Bradford, PA. Arctic air, Chicago right now, 2 above. Oh, boy. 30 below at Warroad, Minnesota. That was the national low. Advisories for snow. Buffalo still snowing. That kind of gets like a broken record, doesn't it? They broke a record last month. It's snowing up at Rochester. By the way, speaking of snow, Grand Junction, which is down in the desert of Colorado, they had 3 inches. 7 inches Montpelier, Idaho. Advisories for snow all over the west. 79 balmy degrees at Palm Springs, the hotspot. Science! All right, here's the satellite showing the snow in Colorado, cloudiness to the south of our area, but cold Canadian air coming in. More science. How cold will it be tonight? Oh, not that bad. 20, Newark, Manhattan, Queens, and Brooklyn, and the North Bronx. I don't know about the South Bronx, though. 16 in Atlantic City, 15 up in Rockland and Westchester. 15 will be about the coldest I'll be able to find by morning, unless you live at Sparta. Tonight will be dark, clear, and colder. 15 to 20 in the city, 10 to 15 in the suburbs. Tomorrow morning at the crack of dawn, it'll be about 15, and it'll only warm to the mid-20s with a cold northerly breeze. Now, tomorrow night, the real fun begins. Bitter cold. 10 to 15 in the city, 5 to 10 in the suburbs, near 0 along the Pennsylvania border. Wednesday's highs only in the low 20s. Snow showers likely Thursday, warming to freezing. Snow and warmer Thursday. You like that? Partly sunny Thursday and Friday and Saturday. Temperatures a little above normal.
Oh, time to drag out the skivvies and the moon boots.
Yes, I would agree with you. I'm ready for it. Bring it on.
Okay, coming up next, the Giants bear their burden and look ahead to next season.
And Judith reviews Corpse, the new comic thriller. Would you believe that? On Broadway. Stay with us.
We've been telling you that we're a fast-moving bank. You told us you want proof. All right. How's this for fast?
Excuse me.
Yes?
I lost track of a check.
What's your account number?
Our branches now have a new computer system.
It cleared 3 days ago.
Oh.
Well, then maybe...
It's there to give you quick answers.
I'm not asking too many questions.
The payment on your loan is $214.70. And your CD matures on the 1st.
I'm beginning to believe you're advertising.
United Jersey, the fast-moving bank.
Tempt your tummy?
Hey, we like our cornflakes.
Oh, but your tummy needs tempting. With honey and nuts.
We're gonna tempt your tummy with a taste of nuts and honey. It's a honey avenue. It's Honey Nut Cheerios.
This is really good. Crunchy, too. Honey Nut B, you've got one honey avenue.
It's Honey Nut Cheerios.
These physicians in private practice are just a few of the extensive and growing network of physicians who participate in Healthways, the high-quality healthcare plan. With Healthways, you're covered for virtually 100% doctor and hospital bills, including well care. There are no deductibles, no claim forms, no red tape. When Healthways is offered where you work, seriously consider joining. For you and your family, Healthways. A way to better health care.
Split right, 688 right on 1. Ready? Right. All right, old fella, let's have a good one now.
How's it feel when each season gets a little bit tougher? Used to hurt till Tuesday. Now I hurt till Friday.
Hey, man, not today.
Rookies.
Take it easy on Mr. Large.
Let's go easy on Mr. Large.
Come on, back it up. Let's go. Be away.
But I've been here before. And I'll be there on Sunday.
Sports Illustrated. Get the feeling.
Carl Churkin, it would seem that the revolving doors never stop in professional sports.
Not as long as there's seasons and they end. Coaches keep coming and going. 1984, Bud Grant resigned as head coach of the Vikings. Said he wanted to spend more time with his family, time to go hunting with the grandkids. He came back for his 18th year. The team rebounded from a disastrous 3-13 season to go 7-9 this year. But today, for the second time in 3 years, Bud hung up the gone fishing sign. This time, Jerry Burns moves up from offensive coordinator to new head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. Giants head man Bill Parcells isn't going anywhere. That's good, too, because despite yesterday's 21-0 loss to the Bears, this club is only going to get better, folks. After the disappointment of elimination Sunday, Parcells said that the Giants need some more firepower on offense. For the most part, the defense matched the Bears shot for shot. But, oh, those missed opportunities on offense in the first quarter. Here comes number 95, Richard Dent, and there goes Phil Simms for a 12-yard loss. In the second quarter, ball on the Giants' 20. Simms double-teamed by Dent and Otis Wilson. Simms recovers his own fumble. Giants lose another 12 yards. Now watch Mike Singletary with a clear shot at Simms up the middle in the third quarter, -11 on that play. Next, Dent again looping around Fridge Perry, throwing Simms for a 10-yard loss. Dent gets credited with 3.5 of the Bears' 6 sack on Phil Simms. Move ahead to the fourth quarter now. Ball on the Bears' 26-yard line. Wilson and Wilbur Martian come unimpeded from the left side. Again, -10. They're having themselves a field day. Simms is having about as tough a day as you can have. Now the final sack. Watch as number 45, Gary Fensick, fakes. Is he coming on the blitz or not? He sure is. And Simms is sure down again, -4 on that one. Bears defense flat out beaten. Well, they've beaten the offensive line of the New York Giants yesterday. Although the Bears beat the Giants 21-0, defensive captain Harry Carson wasn't all that impressed with the modern-day monsters of the Midway.
They're not the best team that I faced. You know, they go out and they try to intimidate, probably to make up for something that's missing in there. They've got an excellent defense that really pressures offenses, but a good offensive coordinator can beat them.
I think we shut down their offense and gave them some easy passing yards, but, you know, they talked all week. And proof of the pudding is the scoreboard. I didn't see any points on that scoreboard, and I didn't see them really get close. We shut them down on the goal line near the end of the half, and they shanked a kick. So as far as I'm concerned, they can talk all they want. They got another year to talk.
Well, next Sunday, the Bears will be talking to the Rams in the NFC Championship game, and you know the Rams are just going to love that weather at Soldier Field. I certainly enjoyed all that wind whipping off of Lake Michigan. It's a great game yesterday. Better weather. And you know that Pete Rozelle loves seeing Al Davis's Raiders eliminated from the AFC playoffs yesterday. Once again, defensive domination and turnovers create the opportunities. New England cashes in with a 27-20 win. In the second quarter, one of two interceptions of Raiders quarterback Mark Wilson by Patriot defensive back Robert Lipett. That leads to a Tony Franklin field goal to tie. Now watch as Franklin puts his bare foot to the kickoff. Sammy Seal can't keep the ball in his flippers. Picks it back up and gets pummeled by Mosi Tutupu. Cedric Jones scoops up the loose ball for the touchdown. The opportunistic Patriots eliminate the Raiders. Their reward, a spot in the AFC title game in the Orange Bowl against Miami. And the Pats haven't beaten the Dolphins down there in the last 18 tries, Reg.
You got out of Chicago just in time. 2 degrees today.
Lovely weather, lovely. For Bears.
In a moment, Judith is going to join us with a review of the new play Corpse.
And we'll have results from our Opinion 9 question. We'll be right back.
Bring your home to life with a visit to Petland Discounts. I'm Neil Padron, president of Petland Discounts. For 20 years, we've offered every product to help keep your pet healthy and happy at discount prices. And the staff always ready to answer your questions. Petland Discounts is one of the largest selections of tropical fish and aquarium supplies. Petland Discounts, for people who love pets. Now 27 convenient locations, all open 7 days.
The Battle of Trenton was an American triumph. One of many ways New Jersey helped shape America's proud heritage. Share our pride. Come to New Jersey.
Well, I guess Corpse is a likely name for a thriller, but an unlikely name for a comedy, and it's the title of both.
Mix the two of them,
Right.
and you've got something very nice. Keith Baxter, who starred in Sleuth on Broadway back in 1970, returned last night in Corpse, a comedy thriller that provides good old-fashioned fun. Baxter himself is simply terrific, co-starring with Milo O'Shea in this British play set in 1936. Baxter plays a slightly loony, down-on-his-uppers actor who hires O'Shea, a man of very dubious reputation, invites him to lunch and to crime.
Tell me, Mr. Farrell, what exactly do you want me to do? I want you to murder me. I said, to murder you? I mean, murder me, actually. But him. But isn't that? I said it's my brother. My twin brother Rupert, I want him dead.
Baxter's plan to do away with his identical twin, who's a wealthy, super nasty type, is rife with complications. Among them, his doting landlady, who drops in much too often to collect the rent and attempt seduction.
That Corpse and Julius Caesar. You were so lifelike. And now resting for close on 2 years, you should have a word with your agent.
My agent? He told me not to fret. He said my availability was my greatest asset.
The fun of the evening is in Baxter's remarkable dexterity as the twin brothers, who are often on stage together. It's a brilliant tour de force for this gifted actor, who makes Corpse a pleasing diversion. Good fun, Sarah.
Oh, looks like a good play.
Go.
Thanks, Judith. I will.
Thank you, Judith. We now have preliminary results from tonight's Opinion 9 question. We asked, are you willing to face more inconvenience at airports to ensure tighter security? So far, 1,578 viewers have called in to say yes, they would be willing to deal with more inconvenience, while a mere 121 have called to say no, they would not. We'll have final results on News 9 at noon tomorrow.
And here's what we're working on right now for News 9 primetime tomorrow at 8. The Space Shuttle Columbia will try for a fourth time to get off the ground. The disposal of toxic waste. New Jersey's exploring one promising solution to this troubling problem. And the latest development in the fight to keep AIDS children out of the classroom.
All this and more on News 9 primetime tomorrow at 8. And be sure to join us for a special late edition of News 9 following tomorrow night's St. John's basketball game. I'm Reg Wells.
And I'm Sarah Lee Kessler. Have a nice night.